All right, cool. Oh, I should have a mask on.
Yeah, we're within 2 meters.
See if it shows how dirty this is. So right?
Yeah, right up front.
There? Okay.
Yeah, should be good.
All right, welcome to Amateur Enthusiasm. Today I'm going to do my first passion projects video. It's going to be a chain of videos that the whole point is to essentially talk about why cars are important to people and all the different reasons people get into cars. I think this is really important because a lot of people, there's a lot of attention, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of hate and gatekeeping that happens in the car world that doesn't need to happen. And I want to kind of break that barrier. And you don't have to be an expert. Well, this guy's kind of an expert, but you don't have to be like the best. You don't have to have a bunch of money. You don't have to have a bunch of skills. And most importantly, you don't have to pretend to be something you're not to enjoy cars. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Dakota. Why are you into cars?
So I actually owe a lot of me being into cars to my stepdad because he grew up doing a lot of dirt track racing and stuff like that. And that inspired me. I used to go to races and stuff with my mom and everything to watch him race, and it inspired me to get more into cars. And my first project car actually was a 2003 Cavalier. That was my first car my mom bought me.
Mine too?
It was a 4-door automatic.
Oh, yeah.
Blown motor.
4-door Cavalier.
4-door automatic with a blown motor. That was my first car present. So me and my
There you go. Here's a bunch of work.
Exactly. So my stepdad and I, we sourced a motor and a transmission. So it was just a nice, easy swap.
And how old were you?
14.
14. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, easy swap. 14.
Yeah, 14, 15. We just dropped motor, transmission, everything, put a new one in it, and we did timing chain, all like the little things like that too. So I learned a little bit about cars then. And been tinkering with cars ever since. I've got pictures of that car with underglow on it, wheel well lights. I had subs in it. It was the biggest piece of crap ever, but I loved it.
Did you do the Euro taillights? Because I definitely did on my Cavalier.
I did not. So, no offense, I was into ricing it out, but I wasn't that rice. And then when I came over to Japan, Japanese cars were never really my big thing. I've always been an American muscle guy, and I love diesel pickup trucks and stuff like that. But I wanted to venture. While I was here, I figured might as well have the fun with the car, like the car scene over here and everything. So,
well, pause there. I want to talk a little bit. Hold on. You were talking about diesel. You're really into American muscle diesel trucks. That's not the profile I would expect of someone to come to Japan and say I got to get a GTST or a Skyline. What brought you into the JDM world? Are you just an equal opportunity car enthusiast, or what's up with that?
So I'm a big fan of, if you have a nice car, it's a nice car. I don't care. I'm a born and raised Chevy guy. I love a Cummins diesel pickup truck.
Or a Cavalier.
So born and raised Chevy. Hated on Ford for a while, hated on Dodge for a while, and then I grew up.
Okay.
And I was like, every car has potential for anything. It comes from who you are and how much effort you're willing to put in. And every car can be good. Every car can be bad. But I'm a big believer in, if you do your car how you want it, then it's not a bad car. That's how you wanted your car. Well, so the first week I got here, actually, I had a friend who was here as well. So literally my first Friday, we went to Daikoku.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this Japanese car scene is pretty amazing. Nobody hates on anything. Everybody loves everything down there. Doesn't matter what you had.
Or if they do hate on it, they keep it to themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. People think that Japan is the land of no judgment. It is not.
No.
There is judgment here, but they just keep their mouths shut and they let people get on about their lives, which is kind of nice.
He can hate your car and everything about it, and he'll never say anything to you. And I respect that a lot, because just because you don't like what somebody's done doesn't give you the right to belittle it and destroy it, you know. So I bought the 32. I liked it. It was a fun car. I didn't like the fact that it was a 6-cylinder 2-liter. My Cavalier had a bigger motor, theoretically speaking. It was a 2.24 cylinder, so it was like, and I didn't really fit in it very well, I'll be honest. So I bought an RX-7. Yeah, that didn't work out either.
Did it break?
No, the RX-7, it was a great car. It was very fun. We did the typical straight pipe, everything. It was loud. It was fun. But I didn't like the way I felt in that car either.
Because your size.
Yeah, so I sold that and I bought
I
bought a Subaru wagon, a B4 wagon, and I dailied that for almost 2 years. And in the meantime, I drove a few other things. Like one of my supervisor, he had a big single turbo Supra. So I went out and had some fun in that.
Does the B4 wagon have a turbo?
Yeah, it was twin turboed actually.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, okay.
So I actually, before I sold the RX-7, I raced the Subaru in the RX-7 to see how slow it really was.
Yeah.
And off the line, because RX-7's rear wheel drive.
Right.
Off the line, it drove great, but caught third gear and blew the radiator. So I never really knew how that race was going to finish.
Your top speed is when it can't go any faster, right? So your top speed was about 0.
Yeah, it quit pretty quick.
Oh wow.
So drove my supervisor Supra for a while, found out that I really liked Supras, I really liked 2Js, but there's a lot of fanboys when it comes to Supras and R34s, which will also tie into this a little bit.
Yeah.
So the price is a little bit,
like this.
It's a little bit out of my budget. So I love the 34s, I love the Supra, I love them all, but I can't afford them. I got too many project cars. So
yeah, you know, you got a monster Camaro in a state city,
so
sucking gas down. So
that's when this came into play.
Okay.
I drove a friend of mine. He had a Midnight Purple, Sean's car now. His Midnight Purple.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go ahead and be honest.
You'll see Sean's car. I did a track video of Sean's car. You can check that out.
So I'll be honest. I beat the living crap out of that car. I've got videos of me doing all-wheel drive donuts in the snow. Like, I beat the crap out of that car. Sorry, Sean. And then I realized that I needed a 33, but I needed something that I could do what I wanted with.
Okay.
I bought an M spec. This is a real M spec. It had the M spec bumper, M spec everything. So I did kind of ruin a car that some people a
collector's car.
Yeah, a collector's car. But I don't care. So I bought the car. It had 16-inch BBS wheels on it, and I hated it. 16-inch BBS. So I went and bought a set of 18s, but they were 18 by 9.5, -10, and an 18 by 9.5 plus 0.
Okay.
And when I put them on, they stuck out past the fender by about 2.5 to 3 inches.
Oh, well, there you go, Shakin.
Which started
this whole
what
process.
you see.
Yeah, because why get a little flap when you can just rebuild the whole car, right?
Exactly. I was like, well, why get wheels that fit the car when you can just make the car fit the wheels?
Yeah, that's obviously the logical choice.
I got the GTR quarter panels.
Okay.
And yes, they're screwed on. Yes, they're going to get molded to the car, but I haven't decided what color I'm going to paint it yet, so there's a reason why they're still screwed on.
Okay.
So I did that, and then I really liked the GTR wing better, so I actually got a GTR trunk and wing off of a GTR that was wrecked. Matched the paint close enough, so I threw it on. So I built a 34 front end for it.
So now tell me, how does that work exactly? Do you just like buy a 34, like R34 GTR and cut off the front? Do you buy fenders and just bolt them on? Like, what exactly is involved in doing that?
So could you buy an R34 and cut the front end off of it? Yes, you could. And the reason I know that is because yes, I did. So
okay,
I found a 4-door R34.
All right.
The dude was leaving and the car was a pile of crap and he needed it sold. And I gave him $50 for the car. I paid $50 for it, but I actually made $150 on it. I took the headlights, because the headlights are stupid expensive. R34 headlights are stupid expensive.
Yeah.
I took the headlights and the fenders and everything that I could, crash bar, radiator support, everything off of it, and made it fit. So the fenders are actually still original 33 fenders from the door jamb.
Oh, no way.
To the center of the fender here.
Oh, okay.
They're original 33 fenders. And then 34 fenders up to the front. I cut them in half, welded them together.
Oh, yeah?
And made that.
Is this the weld mark here? I can't find it.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's not the best. So I did all that, but I really wanted the GTR hood. So I got a real Z-Tune GTR hood.
Oh, nice. I love the Z10.
and then found out it was too thick to fit. It was too tall.
Oh,
so that's
interesting.
why the whole bottom is cut off right now.
So you shaved off the bottom of the hood to make it fit?
Yeah, I cut the whole under skeleton out of it. So
Ah.
I was gonna.
Does it still block water coming in?
Yes, except for where the vents are.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I mean. There's like this water coming through the vents.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
and that's
okay.
why.
I got a buddy who did a 34 swap in his GTR 32.
Yeah.
And his engine, a bunch of water. It was bad.
So that's why I'm also not afraid of some redneck engineering. So this is aluminum speed tape.
Oh.
The valley cover, the seals were going bad, and I couldn't find seals, so I just taped it up.
Oh.
So because water was getting in there and it would flood my coil packs, the car would run like crap. It's been 3 months. I haven't had an issue now.
Who needs valve covers when you got tape?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
These fenders I actually just made last weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I had the metal fenders and they looked really good, but to keep it within Shotgun or JCI, whatever you want to call it, to keep it in compliance, I had to have one of those little eBay screw-on fender flares, and I hated those. So I figured what a better way to do than buy genuine R34 Origin Lab fenders and cut those up too. So I bought R34 Origin Lab fenders and I cut the whole section out of it so you could still have the 33 turn signal and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I still got some trimming to do underneath. It's a project car because no, it's not done yet. And it's not gonna be for a while. So I'm actually leaving Japan. When I get to the States, this is where the diesel thing comes into play.
Let's talk about that while we drive. We're running out of time, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
So let me go ahead and put this up, and we'll go for a drive. All right. So this is the part where I get to drive the car
Yes.
and talk about how I feel about it, and we'll talk about his future plans. We'll talk about his future plans for the car too. It got dark. Hopefully that's okay. We'll see. Okay. Got this. That's good. Your power. Let's start it up. Do you have to hold the clutch in on yours?
Nope.
You didn't? Okay. Ooh, good thing you didn't leave it in gear because I'm not used to that.
The dreaded 33 click. I don't know, did your GTR click too?
Yes, the air conditioning did.
Yep. That window sounds like it's gonna fall out of the track all the time, but it's okay.
Cool. All right. Well,
I figured if it hasn't shattered yet, no need to fix it, right?
there you go. Your e-brake comes up. I can tell you right now, this is the first thing I noticed. Your e-brake comes up either a lot farther than mine, or I never fully extended mine. Maybe I'm a premature e-brake stopper.
I've adjusted mine so I could pull it up slightly smaller.
Oh yeah.
But there's just mentally, I just thought it was gonna roll away. So I've always
it
just
goes way up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever had mine go up like that. All right. So it looks like you got a turbo timer, yeah?
Yes. It's off right now though, so if you do want to turn it on, we can turn it on.
We want you to. It's not tracking the cars.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. And all gauges work. Oil pressure gauge, everything all works. So.
Your clutch is stiff.
So it is a replaced clutch, but I bought an aftermarket clutch that I didn't like, so I put a OEM one back in it.
That's so bounced. That's OEM?
Yeah, it's a OEM clutch. The only thing different about it is I'm a people person and I'm not afraid to like talk to people.
Yeah.
And I was coming home one night and I stopped by a shop and this guy had this guy had a Greddy flywheel and he gave it to me.
Gonna fog up the windows? Maybe we should crack it down a little bit. That's better.
Turn signals don't shut off on their own.
Okay.
When I put the quick release in it, I messed up the clock spring on accident.
Oh, I should have adjusted the seat. You like to ride low, huh?
Yeah, it's as low. Oh, you can adjust that if you want real quick. So it's just a turn knob. So these are 32 GTR seats. So it's got all the GTR commodities.
Well, I'm familiar with those. Is that the guy?
No, that's not him.
Yeah, we're right. Okay. All right, let's see. So what kind of tires do you have on here?
So right now, I actually just have some cheap triangle tires because I'm shipping the car soon. I'm not really too worried. I had some real nice Bridgestone Potentas on it, but they started to go bad, and I figured might as well, since I'm not keeping the car here and I'm not going to track it or anything much more, might as well just throw something cheap on it for now. So the only reason you can hear the turbo a lot is because I put the biggest air filter you can put on it.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can hear it sucking. You said you don't have a front mount, right?
Nope. It's got the factory little corner mount that it came with. I want a front mount, but no front mount yet.
So let's do that. So why haven't you done a front mount on this car?
So the reason why this car has just got a lot of body modifications and a stock motor and stock everything else is because I'm actually putting a Cummins in it. I'm gonna put a 6BT Cummins in it out of like a Dodge pickup truck with a T56 and a Ford 9-inch rear end. It's just gonna be a big burnout car is all it's gonna be. I'm a big fan of braking.
Completely sacrilegious.
I'm a big fan of doing things you shouldn't do to a car because it's what I enjoy and it's what I have fun with. So I understand it's gonna break some hearts. It's gonna make some people mad, but like I said before, it's my car. So that's what I want to do with it.
So tell me about this Cummins engine. I don't know anything about diesels. I know nothing about diesels.
So it's an inline 6, 12 valve mechanical, because I'm putting a mechanical P-pump, everything. It's going to be all mechanical 12 valve Cummins. I'm gonna put a compound turbo on it, but 100% just for aesthetics. Because who wouldn't like to pop the hood of a Skyline and not only see a Cummins, but a Cummins with 2 turbos on it? So it's not.
I hope they're shiny. That's all I gotta say.
It's gonna be a show car / do a lot of burnouts and do some skids and stuff. That's all I have planned for it.
What is going to be involved in that kind of swap? I assume it's not going to be an easy bolt-in, yeah?
No. So I got a friend of mine in the States who actually owns a frame shop, and we're going to cut the whole front end off the car and make a whole custom.
Is that? No.
No, you're good.
Oh, I thought they were towing my van.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Oh my God.
So our parking lot was back a little ways.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna cut the whole front end off the car and build a custom tube front end for it.
Okay, yeah, you have.
We're gonna
mount it to that.
We're gonna cut the rear off of the car and put a tube rear end in it as well.
Okay.
And we're gonna build a dry sump oil pan for it to let the Cummins sit a lot lower because it's a lot taller of a motor. So we're gonna run a dry sump oil system, get as much weight in the rear as we can, put radiators in the rear, oil everything in the rear, get as much weight in the rear. The plan is to put it on.
I thought you'd want less weight.
Because the motor's so heavy, I gotta get as much weight in the rear as I can.
So are diesels? It's inline 6. Are diesels just really heavy?
Yes, it's a big motor. Or engine, however you want to call it. Because I understand some people are like, oh, it's not a motor, it's an engine.
Oh, I don't know those people.
So, because technically an electric one is a motor, and gas-powered ones are engines.
Okay.
It's whatever on it. So the oil and everything will come from the rear of the car. The radiators will be in the rear of the car, and the motor will be able to sit a lot lower to the ground. So it should be able to fit underneath the hood. And if it don't, then I'm cutting up another 34 hood, so it'll fit. We're gonna cut the firewall back too, so it'll actually the rear 1.5 cylinders will sit in where the dash is right. So
that sounds like it's gonna be really hot.
Well, the dash is gonna get cut out and gutted.
Yeah.
And
just re-insulated.
Yeah, so it'll be gutted underneath. There's not gonna be AC and stuff like that in here anymore, unfortunately.
God, that sounds like so much work.
It's gonna be a ton of work, but it's gonna be worth it.
So it's not just heavier, but it's also significantly longer than the inline 6 that's already in here.
So I've actually done some measurement and everything, and it's not that much longer. But if I want it to fit under the hood, I do have to move it back. If I'm okay with cutting through the hood, then I can leave it there. So it's one of those things. It's like, do I cut the hood or do I just move it back?
Yeah, you want it to be a surprise, right?
Well, a Skyline rolling coal is going to be a little bit of a giveaway.
Are you going to have smokestacks?
So I'm going to run. The reason why I'm also running compound setup is for simplicity in the exhaust, and I'm going to run the exhaust right out the driver's side fender.
Ah, okay, okay. That's
because the Cummins motor is.
So you're just going to have all the heat next to the driver.
Yeah. So the Cummins motor, the turbo is on that side. So if I ran a stack, it would blow soot all over the hood, like all over my windshield, because I'm on that side.
Yeah, that would be a safety issue.
So I figured the best way to avoid that is just to.
Hello.
She's got an attitude. The best way to do that is to dump it out the fender, because it's not going to get on the windshield if it's going out the fender.
Yeah.
You know, she likes to pop and bang. She'll shoot some big fireballs too.
Oh. Now I thought that fireballs were a GTR specialty.
Well, it's also your car runs really rich and I don't care specialty.
Yeah. you can when he starts this up, you can smell the exhaust in this car.
Yeah, it's been running rich for a while, but hasn't given me any issues, and I'm a big fan of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Yeah, and you get pops, so that's a win. Yeah.
and big fireballs, so who cares?
What's his name?
Toothless. Have you ever seen How to Train Your Dragon?
Yes.
So this car doesn't shoot fireball like regular fireballs. It'll shoot bright blue fire.
Oh, that sounds like turbo problems. Is that okay?
So it doesn't always do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't had a turbo issue yet. This is the one turnaround I was talking about. So.
This is the one I know. Okay.
Yeah. So, Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon shoots blue fire, and it was a sleek black car. Had the original 33 front end, and it was all nice and round and everything. And Toothless has a nice, dare I say, smooth round front end.
I like his smooth front end. I'm a big fan of Toothless. Honestly, I don't know. Weirdly, he's just very cool.
So that's how this car got its name.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of naming your cars, but I don't think you should ever name your car. I think your car should earn its name.
Yeah. That's
So
fair.
my Camaro in the States, we call it Satan. The reason we call it Satan is because I was
It's trying to kill you.
that too, but I was going through the mountains one time. I was just being quiet so you can get the acceleration.
Oh,
there.
thanks.
Yeah. So we were going through the mountains one time, and my buddy was with me, and he goes, "Man, it sounds like a demon is chasing behind you." I was like,
it would with a Pro Charger like that.
I was like, "A demon or the devil?" Just joking with him. He goes, "Straight up the devil." And ever since then, it's call it Satan.
There you go. Yeah, my brother's car earned his nickname, her nickname, I guess you might say, because his wife named it. His name's Sparkles.
Oh,
Because
God.
the paint job is so pretty.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's an RS5, and it's just like she's just like, oh, he's out in sparkles again. Yeah. All right, I can feel that.
Yeah.
So this shifter do you have a short shifter in here? Is this transmission stock? Have you messed with it? It feels
Bone
significantly
stock.
different than my GTR.
So the only thing is that's a weighted shift knob.
Oh, and extended, right?
No, it's not even extended. It's just
That's the stock height of the shifter.
It's a little bit taller, but it's not like an extended shift. It's just I don't know how to word
Get a
it.
new shifter.
Yeah, so D&D Performance in the States hooked me up a couple years ago. They sent me steering wheel, wheel hub adapter, shifter, some decals and stuff for the car.
Oh, okay.
So they hooked me up pretty well. They've got some really good seats and stuff like that I want to put in here, but I really like the GTR seats. They really hold you in.
Yeah, a lot of people really like those. And it's funny because when I got my GTR, I hated the seats. I was like, I'm gonna sell. And as soon as I said I'm gonna sell, maybe I was like, well, I want them. And I'm like, oh, wait, hold on.
So a 33 GTST right now, today's date
Yeah.
is August 1st.
Yeah.
A 33 GTR today costs you right around 10 to 12 grand.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I paid $4,000 for this car.
Was it busted up?
It was not.
Well, when did you buy it?
3 years ago.
Oh,
Two and a half years ago. Three.
That's still cheap by then, because I remember when I got here 3 years ago, they were 8, 7, 8.
Place. Right here.
Ooh, hello. Brakes.
It's dark. Hey, I'll let you know when we're there. Hey, we're passing it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. This car is very enjoyable to drive. I honestly, it's kind of makes me a little nostalgic for mine. I'd say it doesn't perform as well as it. Like, you can tell the difference in the corner from my GTR and this, but this car is fun.
Oh, I love it.
It's a lot of fun. It has. I'll say for this for sure. It has more personality than my GTR did. That's not even a question.
So, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see I like to have fun with it. I do burnouts and donuts and stuff all the time, and that's one thing you couldn't really do with a GTR.
Yeah.
So
you can with a 32, but not with a 33.
True.
Fun fact: you can turn off the all-wheel drive on a 32. You can't turn it off on a 33.
Well, maybe take off the front axle, you kind of shut it off, right? Or the front drive shaft. I mean, the axles will be not used. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
English is hard sometimes. Just go till it sounds expensive.
You said you can't do the Lambo backup and then other cars.
So I'll be honest, even without a light hanging here and a light up there, I usually open the door too, because these cars are kind of hard to see out of sometimes.
They are.
So
Yeah.
the B pillar is just kind of in the worst place ever, which, I mean, obviously it's not in a bad place. It's there for safety and stuff, but
Right.
And these windows are pretty decent size, but they're tinted and it's hard to see sometimes.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to say about your car before we call it quits?
Not really. I think I pretty much went over everything.
Cool. You know, it's crazy driving this car because this is the first time I've driven a GTST, and I drove the GTR for 3 years, and I paid $20 for that, and you paid $4 for this, right?
Yeah, I couldn't justify spending an extra 18 grand on my front tires spinning with my rear tires and 0.1 liter bigger motor and a second turbo.
Yeah, and I'd say this car is like, if you want to talk about like fun for a car, unless you're really into like like you're specifically into GTRs or you're a collector or something along those lines. I don't know that it's worth the price difference. The gap is pretty significant, though nowadays it's getting smaller. So the GTST doesn't have a lot of the chassis strengthening that the GTR has, and you can feel that in the corners. So but if you want to play, so I won't say like it's a cheap GTR, it's not, but if you want to play with the big boys, you absolutely can. You don't need to spend all the money.
So actually, I guess I could have mentioned it before we took off.
Could probably beat one track too.
The Hikes still works in this.
Oh really?
And it's still in.
I thought you said you deleted it.
I have not.
Oh, that was Randy. He said he deleted it. Yeah.
The Hikes is still in here. So maybe that, I don't know if call me dumb, make fun of me in the comments. I don't know if GTRs have Hikes.
They do, yeah.
Okay.
They do. And most people delete them because it's unreliable.
Did yours have Hikes?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't remove it. Most people delete it because they don't like how it kicks in at high speeds, whatever.
Fair enough.
But it would kick in for me a lot of times on ramps, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was kind of fun.
High speeds don't matter. This has got a governor, so you can wrap it to the full length of the speedometer there. Mm-hmm. It'll go to 180 clicks, and it'll go about that far past 180 clicks, and it won't let you go any faster.
Well,
somebody told me.
Somebody. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This is _
Boost Addict.
Boost Addict. I almost said addicted to boost. This is
I mean, that's why it's Boost Addict. I'm addicted to
This is _ Boost Addict. If you want to see his Skyline and his Camaro and whatever other shenanigans he's up to, check out his Instagram. It's very interesting. I wish I had the gall that he has. So we're gonna do one more quick photo session, and we're gonna be on our way.
Cool. You just can't be afraid. And I think with you having a Miata, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, a car that you spent significantly less on than your GTR, I look forward to keeping up with your build, and I hope you're not afraid to just start doing what you want to it. You know what I mean? Like if you want to start ripping stuff apart and making stuff for it, have fun. That's the whole point. Like, because I was too afraid to do that on a GTR, right? Fair enough. And because if I broke something, it was going to be crazy expensive. Yes. But on the Miata, I'm not afraid to do that because, well, that's what I'm kind of doing in the channel, is breaking stuff and figuring it out. Because everything's cheap. So cheap. So cheap. And when you're ready to build a death trap, I have a spare LS3 sitting around, so we can make the Miata really fun. No, man. I'm not trying to die today. Maybe tomorrow.